Hello everyone, I'm Jagdish Chopre. Welcome you all in this reactjs training series for beginners. Now in last class we covered expressions in JSX and this is the demo of the same. Now in this class we will cover props, short for properties. So let's get started. Now first of all, let's clean up this app component. So here I will remove all the code we added in the last class because I don't need it anymore. We already covered this part. So here, after header component, I will remove everything along with the last paragraph. Here, let me select everything, just delete it. Save all the files, and here we will see our app component is now clean with only the header. Now let's proceed with our Udemy demo application here. Now here in the typical Udemy application, in the body, we generally see the listing of all the courses. Now let's add a list of courses here. For the same, here I will create a order list. So for that, OL and hit tab. Then inside that I will create a list item li, and in that I will just add any course name. Save this, and we will going to see HTML here. Now here everything is coming in the center because in the index.css file for the body we added text align center. That is why everything here will aligned in center. Here, let me duplicate these list items couple of times and we will see more items are getting added in this list. But now, instead of copy pasting this, let me show you the another way, the emit abbreviations. Now here, we have been using emit abbreviations. So once we write any tag name, then here in the suggestion, we will see emit abbreviations are helping us in the VS Code. And this emit is the VS Code feature. It has nothing to do with JavaScript or any language. Now here emit is telling that with this, if you select or hit tab, it will going to create this OL open and close tags and will have a cursor inside this. Now if we select this or hit tab, then here we will see OL is open tag and close tag, and inside that we are getting the cursor. Let me undo this. Again, if I want to create OL tag and inside that, then I will use this angular bracket, and inside that I want list item. And here we can see now if we hit tab, then it will going to create this kind of a template. Inside the OL, it will create a li, and inside that li, it will going to have a cursor. Let's hit tab and we will see the same structure is getting created here. I just don't want a single list item here, but I want 5 items. For the same, we can just add multiply by 5 here. And once we add multiply by 5 here, in the preview we can see we'll create an OL with 5 list items inside that OL. Let's hit tab and we can see the same template is getting added here. In this way, we can use emit abbreviations to quickly create the required template. With this here, let's add a couple of course names like HTML, second CSS, then JavaScript. After that, React, then Next.js support. Save this and we will see all those courses here added in the list. Now here for the simplicity, we are just adding the course name in this list item. But going forward in the real application, we know that one list item or one course item here in this Udemy application will going to have a full course details. For example, the image of the course, the title, the instructor name, rating, etc. in one course item. Now here, if we write that template and then if we are duplicating that code again and again, then our work will increase. because if you have to make any change in that display logic of a one course item, then we have to repeat it for hundreds of courses here. To avoid that, this list item would be a good candidate to extract in a different reusable component. So let's create a separate component in that we will move this course item. So here we already have this component folder, and lastly we created this header component inside this. In the same folder, I will create my course item component. So right click on this components folder, create a new folder. So now, as we already discussed, creating a folder is not compulsory, but I like my components to be organized in a folder. So this is my personal choice. Now here, I will create a folder named course item. Inside this folder, let's create a new file, and I will name this as CourseItem.jsx, following the capital case conventions for user defined components. Inside this, let's create a component function, and let's name these exactly matching our file name, which is course item. As of now, I do not have any parameters to provide in this component function, and I want to return my JSX from this. So what I want to return from this, I want to return this list item. So let's cut this and let's move that JSX here in this course item. And now we can use this course item component right here instead of this list item tag. In order to use that course item component here, we first of all need to import it in this file. In order to import this here, first of all we need to export it from this file. Now if we want to use this component function outside this file, then and then only we need to export this from this file. Now I want to use this outside of this file, that's why I will export this. So export default and then the name of the component is course item. With this, let's import this here right after the header component. Import course item. Now here VS Code is suggesting us the auto import. Now once I started writing the component name, it is showing us the suggestion, do you mean to import this course item which is there at this path, that is components folder, course item folder, inside that course item.jsx. If I'm clicking on this item or hitting tab, it will automatically import it. But here you have to cross check the path and have to make sure that you are importing the right intended element. After that, here instead of all these list item tags, I will start using our newly imported course item element with self closing tag. Let's save all the file. We will see the first item HTML is getting displayed here. Now that, as we know, is coming from this course item component, and from this course item component we are sending this list item with the HTML as a content. Now here I required 5 different course items. So for that, let's copy paste this 5 times and let's save this. And here we will see 5 items are generated. But all of these are with the HTML content only. Now that is because here we hard coded the HTML as the content. And here if we change this and save, then we will going to see the same content is getting repeated as we are reusing this component. But that is not our requirement. We want to display different course name for each and every component. Now how to do that? For that we can take help of props, that is properties. What it means, like we have to pass extra information to this course component, which we can extract from this component function and then can write it here. Now how to pass that extra information? That we can pass as a properties, just like we have been passing for any another HTML element. For example, this OL tag is there. Suppose I want to pass any extra information to this OL tag. For example, I want to set the ID. For that, I use this ID property, and inside that, I use any ID. So in the same way, we can pass extra information to this user defined component also. So here to this course item component, I want to pass course name. So let's say I want to pass HTML as a course name. So once we pass this kind of a properties to any user defined components, those get automatically passed to this component function as a part of parameter in this component function, and that we can capture and can use in this component function. Now for that we can name that object anything like props, and this will be an object in that we will have all the properties which we are passing to this component, and that we can use by using object notation. To display that, of course, we need to enable the JavaScript expressions. And inside this, we can use props dot then the name of the properties, and that should be exactly matching to the name which we are passing from this component. Let's copy this. Let's paste it here. Save this, and then we will going to see this HTML. But now this HTML is not a hard-coded value, but this is getting passed to this component as a property. In the same way, let's pass this to all rest of the component, because as we are not passing anything, so our other components are not displaying anything. For the second, let's add CSS. For the third, let's pass, for example, JavaScript. For the fourth, let's pass, let's say, React. For the fifth, let's pass Angular. Let's save this, and we will see all these course names which we are passing to these components are getting displayed right here. In the same way, we can also pass multiple props to this component. For example, I also want to pass a rating to this course. For that, I'm passing 4.5 as a value, and let's capture that here and display it in the expressions of course props dot rating. Save this, and we will see 4.5 rating is getting displayed here. Now that of course we are not passing to other components, that's why it is not getting displayed. And if we are not passing value to any property and trying to access this from this component function, then here it gets evaluated as undefined. To prove that, here let me check the type of this rating, and if we save this, here for the first element it is getting passed as a string because we are passing here string value, but for all rest of the values it is coming as undefined. In the same way, we can also pass values with the different data types. Here if we are using double quotes or single quotes, then it is getting passed as a string. But rating, suppose we want to pass as a number for suppose doing any calculations here, then if we want to pass any value as a number or any another data type, for that we need to take help of expressions. As we know, once we use this open and close curly braces, it opens the JavaScript mode right here. From this we can pass any value. And now if we save this, here we will see that instead of string it is evaluated as a type of number right here. And in the same way, suppose we are passing any another value. For example, I want to pass a boolean value like show rating. For that, suppose I'm passing true, and let's print the type of that 2 here. show rating, then here it will get evaluated as a boolean. Of course, it is coming as undefined for rest all the components because we are not passing those values to rest of the components. With this, I do not need the rating and show rating as of now. So let me remove this from here and again from the course item component. Save this and we will see only the list of all courses again. One more thing here, as all those properties which we are passing to this component are getting passed to this component function in this object. And suppose we are passing lot of properties to that component and those we want to access it here, then again and again we need to use this syntax props.this and props.that. And suppose you do not want to use this props dot syntax and want to access those properties directly, then you can again take help of destructuring the objects here. We can destructure that object right here by using object destructuring syntax. And here we can extract all those property names which we are passing from here. For example, course name. And instead of props dot, we can just directly use those with the same name. Save this and we will see there are no errors and it is displaying the course names just like that. But point to remember that here, unlike that props object, we cannot use any another different name. We must have to use the same name which we are passing here to this component as a property. And suppose we try to use any another different name, for example course name 1, then it will not going to work because now it is not going to find any value for course name 1 because we are not passing any value to course name 1. Then it is getting evaluated as undefined and we are not seeing any value. If we check the type of this property, then we will see it as undefined. Let me again go back to course name, and in the same way, if we are passing multiple properties, those we can destructure here by using comma. This save everything. We will see the list of courses again. But I personally like to use props.syntax only because when my component code goes bigger and I have lots of multiple variables and states in this component, it is generally convenient to identify the variables which are coming from the parent once we see props.syntax. So for the same, I like to use props.syntax only. Now one last point here about the props is like props are read-only objects. For example, if we try to change the value of these props to any another, for example Python, then it will start throwing the error that cannot assign to read-only property course name. These props are immutable because these are controlled by its parent. We have to keep this in mind. And with the same, these props are called as a means for communication between parent and children. Here, app component being the parent component and course item being the children component. So in any React interview, someone is asking you how parent component can communicate with children component, or what is the way using which parent component can pass data to child component, then your answer should be props. With this, let me comment this sentence, save everything and reload the browser. We should not see any error and our code is working fine. Now that's all for this class. In next class, we will cover children props. Thank you.